In this week's Bizline, Prime Minister highly values contributions of Vietnamese entrepreneurs. And later on, Vietnam accelerates digital transformation amid COVID-19. Hello there, you're tuning into Bizline, our weekly economic journal on VTV International. I'm Hoàng Hằng, and as usual, we now take a look at news making headlines in Vietnam's economic scene this week.
On Tuesday, Prime Minister Pham met with representatives of business sector and commended them on their achievements on the occasion of the Vietnam Entrepreneurs Day. At the meeting, Prime Minister Pham lauded the efforts and important contributions of the business community and entrepreneurs in the process of building and developing the country during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Prime Minister said that the government is developing a master program for socio-economic recovery and development. In particular, Resolution128 on safe adaptation, flexibility, effective control of the COVID-19 pandemic was issued on October the 13th. The Prime Minister expressed the hope that the business sector will grow stronger in the time to come and continue to make more effective contributions to the cause of national construction and development.
Digital transformation to build a digital world is not the business of a single country, organization, or individual, but a global matter that requires a global approach and contributions, Prime Minister Pham said at a virtual ministerial roundtable in the framework of the ITU Digital World 2021 on October the 12th. The Prime Minister emphasized that the Vietnamese government always believes that domestic digital firms will play a significant role to the success of the process, raising the digital economy's share in Vietnam's GDP to over 20% by 2025 and 30% in 2030. He urged organizations and businesses to step up cooperation and accompany governments of countries to overcome difficulties. The ITU Digital World 2021 was jointly held by the Vietnamese Ministry of Information and Communications and the ITU. We will discuss with an expert about the digital transformation progress in Vietnam in our crosstalk.
The agricultural sector remained a pillar of Vietnam's economy, bringing in $35.5 billion from the export of agro, forestry and fishery products in the first 9 months of this year. The ministry reported that farm-produced staples account for nearly $16 billion, while main forestry products contributed nearly $12 billion, and fisheries products contributed $6.2 billion. The agricultural sector saw added value in the third quarter increased by more than 1% compared to the same period last year and contributed 23.5% to the national economy's overall growth.
Early October, the credit of the whole system increased by 7.4%, significantly higher than the same period in 2020. Currently, lending interest rates are also lower than the same period in 2020 by about 1%. And by the end of September 2021, the total amount of interest that credit institutions have exempted, reduced, or lowered for customers has reached about $1.2 billion, with about 280,000 customers having had their repayment terms restructured. Leaders of the State Bank of Vietnam also announced that they will continue to operate monetary policies proactively in order to control inflation and maintain stability in the currency and foreign exchange markets. These are the results of Vietnamese banking activities in the third quarter of 2021 that announced by the State Bank of Vietnam on Wednesday.
In Hanoi, from 6 a.m. on October the 14th, many businesses have been allowed to reopen. Among them, restaurants and F&B service businesses are allowed to serve customers on-site again. Hotels and accommodation services establishments are allowed to reopen with a cap of 50% of their capacity and required to strictly abide by COVID-19 prevention and control regulations. Buses and taxis are allowed to resume operation according to the capacities and roads instructed by the Department of Transport to comply with pandemic prevention and control regulations, in which buses can operate on 50% of the driving chart approved by the Hanoi Department of Transport. Taxis and ride-hailing vehicles with less than 9 seats are allowed to operate at 50% capacity. Passengers must also comply with pandemic prevention conditions and scan QR codes when boarding.
Those are some highlights in Vietnam's economic scene. Up next, we will look into how the COVID-19 pandemic impact Vietnam's digital transformation progress and the way forward in our crosstalk. Digital transformation to build a digital world does not belong to any single country, organization, or individual. It is a global issue, so a global approach is required. This message was shared by Vietnamese Prime Minister Pham at the online ministerial meeting within the framework of ITU Digital World 2021 on Tuesday evening in Hanoi. Let's find out more about this event in the following story. Vietnam seeks to stimulate trade, develop skills, and strengthen economic development in line with sustainable development through digital transformation. This was affirmed by Prime Minister Pham at the International Telecommunication Union, or ITU Digital World 2021, co-hosted online by Vietnam and the ITU on Tuesday night. Speaking at the opening ceremony, Prime Minister Pham stated that the event will contribute to unlocking the values of digital transformation and digital technology to develop a collaborative and shared digital economy for the interests and progress of people around the world. As such, the Vietnamese government is working to accelerate the national digital transformation roadmap.
Chính phủ Việt Nam coi hạ tầng số, hạ tầng dữ liệu, các nền tảng số quốc gia là yếu tố then chốt và đang nỗ lực tăng tốc lộ trình chuyển đổi số quốc gia. Triển lãm Thế giới số 2021 là cơ hội để giới thiệu các sản phẩm, dịch vụ, giải pháp công nghệ số của các tổ chức, doanh nghiệp đến từ nhiều quốc gia trên thế giới, đem đến những trải nghiệm độc đáo, thể hiện sự sẵn sàng, mức độ sáng tạo và sự chung tay hợp tác vì một thế giới số tiến bộ, an toàn và thịnh vượng.
The ITU Digital World 2021 continues to be held online. The event has many activities including online exhibitions and introductions to digital transformation achievements of different countries. This event is also an opportunity for Vietnamese enterprises to promote their brands, expand the market, and approach customers and partners from 193 member countries of the ITU.
Trong lúc mà các doanh nghiệp không thể đi lại giao thương với nhau thì cái nền tảng mà Việt Nam phát triển ra thì đã tạo cho các doanh nghiệp vẫn có cơ hội đến gặp gỡ với nhau, giới thiệu các sản phẩm dịch vụ với nhau và ký kết các hợp đồng hợp tác với nhau.
Within the framework of the event, small and medium-sized enterprises also have the opportunity to participate in the ITU SME Virtual Worlds, which will play a role in a platform to help businesses take off. The event will take place from October the 12th to November the 12th, 2021. During his visit to Vietnam to attend ITU Digital World 2021, we had a chance to sit down with Secretary General of the International Telecommunication Union, ITU, Mr. Zhao Hulin, to discuss how the COVID-19 pandemic impact Vietnam's digital transformation progress and the way forward. Join us for this interview. Well, Mr. Zhao, thank you so much for joining our BizLine program.
It's my pleasure.
ITU Digital World 2021 is a chance for Vietnamese firms to introduce their products and also to connect with their global partners. So how do you think the event will help Vietnamese firms to enlarge their connections with partners globally?
To some extent, I appreciate very much your activities expanded into foreign market. I think that to have our ICT discovery in Vietnam provide good opportunities for Vietnamese to get more contact with friends in foreign countries, but also to give foreign investors opportunities to understand what happened in Vietnam. So that means that this kind of contact is absolutely necessary for Vietnam people to promote Vietnam as a new Vietnam to the world. And I would encourage our Vietnamese friends to more proactively to promote Vietnamese technology contributions to the modern world. So this will be much appreciated by many developing countries to get your voice, to get your message. So that I think I would very much encourage our Vietnamese friends to be more proactive in the international platform.
From your observations, which policies, measures, or initiatives do you think will help Vietnam develop digital infrastructure and also digitalize daily lives?
I would very much like to mention my strategy, 4 I's. 4 I's means infrastructure, investment, innovation, and inclusiveness. Infrastructure means we still have to work hard to extend the infrastructure to connect the other half population. And then you also have to upgrade this infrastructure. So if you have this kind of sophisticated infrastructure with advanced technologies, of course you need investment. We have to encourage investment. So you have to create a good environment to attract the investment. And the government also needed to make best use of limited source of investment. Innovation now, I like to highlight. Today, SMEs is an important part of our business. They are rich in innovation. They know the technologies, but they also know the market. Now, if in the past we have 2G, 3G, 4G, mainly by big companies, now 5G and the future 6G or something, we also like to engage the SMEs to be in the mainstream of standardization to make our standards much more efficient and much more profitable by our community. So that the innovation from technical side, not only limited to big guys, but also to small, medium-sized entrepreneurs. On the other hand, we also need an innovation of new policy, new strategy, new visions. Then last I is inclusiveness. Still, as Secretary General United Nations said, we have to keep in mind we should not leave anybody behind. If we all work together, we could have chance to reach that goal by 2030, to have everybody connected.
A lot of things have changed. Instead of going to the office, employees work from home. The classrooms are deserted as students learn online remotely. People limit the frequency of going to the market or supermarket. Instead, they buy food on mobile apps and e-commerce platforms. Government meets online and signs international cooperation agreements with other countries via the internet. Farmers no longer worry when agricultural products have distribution difficulties. The contact tracing and medical declaration via QR code makes zoning and curbing COVID-19 much easier. Some COVID-19 patients cannot be admitted to the hospital. However, they still receive timely advice from medical staff. Vietnam is gradually recovering quickly, adapting and building a new normal life.
COVID-19 is a 100-year push for digital transformation, driving digital growth in a month by years.
COVID-19 is a challenging time for nations worldwide. As such, accelerating digital transformation in challenging times is the theme of this year's World Telecommunication and Information Society Day, in a bid to promote digital transformation among 193 member countries. Accelerating digital transformation in challenging times is the theme for this year's World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. So why is it so important to accelerate this transformation at this time?
Absolutely, it's urgent. Although we have a marvelous achievement of ICT everywhere, but still, how population connected so far? Secretary General of the United Nations last year called the whole world to work together to have everybody be connected by 2030, 10 years. 10 years to connect another half is not an easy job. So that is something we really have to change our mindset to accelerate our digital transformation. And by calling for accelerating digital transformation, of course, we need to mobilize everybody who work together, and we would encourage more investment in ICT, more investment in the information society. And I think that with the new situation, people realize that ICT is indeed important. If it's not realized so important, COVID-19 give everybody a lesson that this is absolutely important. But how can we really reach our goal to have the situation where ICT be beneficial to everybody? That is still a challenge, and we have to work hard.
The COVID-19, as we know, poses unprecedented challenges for the world economy. So from your observation, how has digital transformation helped economies, including Vietnam, to mitigate the impacts of COVID-19?
Fortunately, COVID-19 gave us enormous trouble over the last 1.5 years. But on the other hand, that with the COVID-19, a lot of SMEs, local SMEs, developed a lot of very smart, very talented local applications to help people isolated with new services they can offer, and then people can use these new services to enjoy their life. And then with this kind of success, we also realize that the SMEs are absolutely important for our business, and also people expect more from ICT. So for those who have the smart idea to have a good policy to encourage investment in ICT, those countries will have more benefit to their people. And now I see also that in Vietnam you use ICT to improve your agriculture business, and not only with internet service to help the peasants to sell their products, and education, energy, anything you would like to name, that we could use ICT to improve them. I would say that your government is a very successful project, and also I noted that you have e-education in a project that to connect the schools with the internet. That is also a marvelous project.
The past 2 years have been a challenging time for the world, including ASEAN and Vietnam, due to the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic. However, such a challenge has become an opportunity for ASEAN countries to foster their digital transformation.
The COVID-19 pandemic and its social lockdown periods will accelerate that already kind of new dimension, both within Southeast Asian economies, e-commerce, but increasingly across the region as a whole.
Digital transformation is the application of digital technologies in businesses and organizations to optimize operational efficiency. Digital transformation has been happening even before the pandemic. It has been implemented in a number of fields in both the public and private sectors. Experts say that digital transformation has helped ASEAN economies not only recover post-pandemic, but to also thrive in the future.
Chúng tôi cho rằng là đấy sẽ là một cái xu hướng phát triển rất mạnh trong cái thời gian vừa qua và cũng như trong tương lai. Tôi thì cho rằng đây sẽ là một cái xu hướng mà các nước ASEAN có thể tận dụng tốt nhất. để phát triển cái khu vực của mình lên, trở thành một cái trung tâm tài chính của cả thế giới.
Vietnam's achievements in information and communication technologies development, including its national program for digital transformation, make the country a competent player in the region and the world. The contribution of the digital economy is expected to account for 30% of Vietnam's GDP by 2030.
Digital transformation can be seen as key for economic recovery for many countries. Which sector do you think Vietnam should focus on to further enhance economic recovery post-COVID-19?
So you already have very advanced industry of ICT, and then to make the best use of these industry innovations into agriculture, to help many developing countries to develop their agriculture, that will be good. And then I noted that recently your government have e-education project that is very important because children are our future, and good education is absolutely important for a country. So that if you provide our children with good education, you need ICT, and you need to have a broadband connection to the schools, to the families. Of course, more importantly, maybe that the e-government, that you still needed to make your e-government more efficient. But here I would encourage our government in Vietnam to look at the national strategy to have ICT as the main facilitator, to put them together at the government level to see how can we make a best use of limited resources to do this business more efficient.
From your observation, what advantages do you think Vietnam have in terms of information technology to promote this transformation process compared to other ASEAN nations?
ASEAN market is very dynamic in the world. It's the most dynamic one. To compare Vietnam and other members of ASEAN, I found one thing that you encourage and strengthen your research capacity by producing your own Vietnamese-made equipment and solutions, so that your VTV can go out of Vietnam to foreign countries with equipment services developed in Vietnam. Not many countries can do that. Of course, I also noted that people are relatively young. Its average age is around less than 30 years old. So this is a very dynamic generation, and they have a very good mindset to work with the international market.
Vietnam aims to become a more digitalized and greener nation for deeper integration with the world, becoming a developed, high-income country by 2045. This vision depends heavily on the ability to turn the digital dream into a reality, with the digital economy as the main growth driver. Digital transformation is becoming a measure of each country's strength and resilience. Vietnam will continue to promote the national digital transformation of the whole population. It will be done comprehensively through universalizing fiber optic cables to households, popularizing smartphones, developing and widely applying digital platforms, developing 100,000 digital businesses according to the Make in Vietnam strategy. These measures are aimed to confidently build a digital, green and sustainable Vietnam. In June 2020, the Vietnamese government approved the National Digital Transformation Programme to 2025 with a vision to 2030, with three main pillars: digital government, digital economy, and digital society. It is at a time where the whole world is changing due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Blockades, social distancing, most public activities have stalled. Life is no longer the same as it was before. To adapt to the new normality, many essential daily activities must move towards the digital space. Digital transformation is key.
What role should the government play in terms of assisting businesses and sectors in their digital transformation in order to build a resilient digital Vietnam?
New business can be really developed if there's no government support to create a good environment of development. So government rules, that in my opinion, is really to create a good environment. Good environment for competition, good environment for innovation, good environment for development. So that is absolutely important. So sometimes I found that people talked a lot about the great success of some companies. That indeed, that is appreciated. But don't forget, any of these companies, whether they're from China, from India, from the United States, why they come from that country particularly? Because that environment is good for them. Who created that great environment for them? It's the local authority. And the good environment needs, that the good community. Good community needs good governance, that. And Vietnam is one of the good examples for me. I found that you have a lot of, support from government. And here, Vietnamese model is also a valid model for me, to see how can we, make the best use of all the possible business models to get together to add the value to this accelerating digital transformation efforts.
Once again, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Digital transformation can be seen as a vaccine for overcoming the COVID-19 pandemic. As Prime Minister Pham noted, one thing is certain: digital transformation is vital in order to both secure a new normal in the digital space and to ensure economic recovery while prioritizing the health and safety of citizens. As such, the Vietnamese government consider digital and data infrastructure alongside its national digital platforms to be key factors. And Vietnam, with its digital technology, is determined to overcome the pandemic, restore production and develop socio-economic development in the new normal. And on that note, we wrap up this edition of BizLine. To rewatch our program, please log on to our official website at vtv4.vtv.vn or simply download our app VTV Go from App Store and Google Play for a lot more. Thank you for watching and see you next time.